But every time you avoid making a mistake, you avoid learning. And the research shows that all learning occurs by mistakes. Getting fluent in English will require you to make millions of mistakes.
So today is from a very Japanese traditional house. So by the way, to put it bluntly, you've already studied enough to speak English in terms of knowledge if you've graduated public schools. You already have enough knowledge to speak English. You are ready to speak English. So but why Japan is so low in English proficiency ranking? The data published by Education Force, which is a global educational company, that Japan is in 19th out of 116 countries. What a shame. I think this all comes from being afraid of making mistakes and misunderstanding yourself as unable to speak English, even you are ready to speak English in terms of knowledge. So in today's video, I'm going to introduce you two videos, and one is an interview to Jeff McQuillan. He was an associate professor of language education in a university, but now he is a senior research associate at the Center for Educational Development in Los Angeles, and also he hosts English as a second language podcast. And another one is by Christian. He runs his own English school and he's been teaching English for long years. He has more than 420k followers on his YouTube, so it means he's one of the succeeded English teachers. They told me the reasons why a lot of people misunderstand themselves as unable to speak English, and also the most important key to be able to speak English. So let's check. So I would like you to answer this question. Why you feel you cannot speak English? Why you say 私は英語を話せません? Even you know how to do greetings or response to how are you? Those are just my opinions, but the biggest reasons of them are being afraid of making mistakes and too much expectations of being able to speak English. But I'd like you to answer next question. How fluent do you mean by a foreigner who can speak Japanese? I know each of you has different answers or opinions toward this question, but here is my answer. If that person can do greetings or daily conversations, even small daily conversations by Japanese, I can perceive that person as being able to speak English, even his or her grammar is not perfect. If that person can express themselves, if that person can make them understood by Japanese, I can admit him as being able to speak Japanese. I hope some of you have agreed with my idea, and here is the interesting truth, and this is the reason why I asked you this question. So, as a human, when we communicate, we don't focus on the accuracy of grammar. We tend to focus on the meaning, okay?
Our natural tendency is to focus on meaning. We're not so interested in how that message is constructed. And the brain just naturally wants to focus on meaning.
So let's suppose that you are watching a drama in English. Are you trying to find out how all each sentences are constructed? Are you trying to find some mistakes of dialogues? I mean like grammar mistakes. The 100% no, right? When you are a listener, the priority is to understand what other people want to express. And when you are a speaker, the priority is to express yourself in that language. So the first meaning comes and then accuracy comes. You know, even native speakers can make mistakes, but still they can communicate. Why? Because as a human, if we can understand what other people want to say, if we can understand the meaning, everything is fine. So please think like this. No one cares about your accuracy of grammar, okay? So you should put your priority on making yourself understood in English, because as I said in this video, English is mere a tool than speaking in correct grammars.
They don't affect communication, and studies have shown that the people you're communicating with won't even notice them, because people's brains only care about meaning. But unfortunately, they are the mistakes that are the focus of every bad grammar book, every bad exam, and every bad YouTube lesson. And they also invade and imprison the minds of many learners.
So don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say speak English in incorrect grammars or vocabularies, but it is still worth asking yourself, I may misunderstand myself because I'm caring about mistakes too much. So what I want to say here is don't be afraid of making mistakes and don't put your priority on the accuracy of grammar or vocabularies. because from my experiences, if you start to consider such things, they make you very, very uncomfortable, and all of a sudden, the words or phrases you know don't come out from your mouth. So I'm not saying trying to make mistakes. What I want to say here is don't be afraid of making mistakes, okay? Because if you are afraid of making mistakes too much, you will stay on your desk forever. You will never utilize what you've learned. You will never speak English in real situation.
So the level of your English directly reflects how many you have made. If someone has a higher level of English than you, it's because they made more mistakes. And you haven't experienced all of the painful learning experiences. So making newer and bigger mistakes more often is a sign that you're learning.
So as he said, even if you make mistakes, don't be depressed because it is a sign that your English skills are improved. So let's remember when you were a child and when you are trying to ride a bike, okay? The first time, for sure, you weren't able to ride a bike, for sure, because we know no one can do something perfectly from the first time. So even a few weeks later, you still fell from a bike. You cannot keep a balance. So maybe those can be perceived as mistakes. But sooner or later, we can ride a bike. Why? Because we didn't give up. We made a lot of mistakes, but we learned from such mistakes how to keep balance and how to ride a bike, how to control your bike. And then, as a result, we can ride a bike. So it is completely same in English. So it is clear that what you have to do now is output what you've learned. Utilize your English skills like you've learned in public schools because you have enough knowledge. So then the next step is right in front of you. Just use it. Don't be afraid. You can do it. But I know we are all afraid of making mistakes. Even me, I'm afraid of making mistakes. But why are we afraid of making mistakes too much, right? What is the reason? So in the school days, I mean not all schools, but most of the schools, we are told that we should avoid making mistakes and mistakes should be punished. When you are told that you are making mistake by your teacher, maybe you felt like you are not member of your class. You feel like you are excluded from their class. Now this is my feeling when I told that I'm making mistake in front of everyone.
We can all agree on one thing. Mistakes are bad. Our mistakes are punished from the moment we are able to make them.
However, I would like you to escape from such way of thinking as soon as possible if you really want to speak English. But let's put it differently. The best way to acquire confidence and knowledge to speak English is making mistakes. As I've said in the last video, there is not much relationship between your IQ and fluency. It is about your confidence and it is about the amount of your practice. But I don't deny studying grammar or vocabularies. It is very, very important to acquire like correct information. But what I want to say is I don't want you to spend much of the time on such activities. I would like you to use your English not only on your textbooks, but also in the real situations. But don't forget, the very first time you jump into such opportunities, you feel really, really nervous. You may make a lot of mistakes, but it's okay. Don't be depressed. Don't give up. But the next time, for sure, your English skills will be improved than before. And more mistakes mean more improvement. So before finishing, let me tell you one thing. There isn't only one right way. There are numerous ways to express yourself in English. There are a lot of choices. So don't try to find out only one right answer. There are a lot of right answers. So don't perceive English as a math or a science. Express yourself in your way and enjoy your English journey. Thank you so much. はい、そして最後に僕からなんと大事なお知らせがあって、僕の4大プレゼントにもう一つプレゼントが加わりました。それは TOEIC 頻出単語リスト4600語です。これは僕が TOEIC955 点を獲得できた経験から、TOEIC を受ける際にはこれだけは覚えておいて損はないという単語をまとめたリスト。これをプレゼントに付け加えます。現在の総単語数は4600語ですが、これはまだ未完成で、最終的には1万語以上を収録したいと思っています。ただ、このデモ版の時点でも受け取りたいという多くの方がいらっしゃったので、今回無料プレゼントに付け加えをさせていただきました。 そしてまだ4つ無料で受け取れるプレゼントがあります。1つ目は TOEIC リスニング満点の僕がゼロから作った TOEIC リスニング完全攻略ガイドブックです。そもそも TOEIC とは何なのか、 TOEIC の全てのパートの問題の形式と解説、そして TOEIC リスニング問題の全ての解き方のコツを図表やグラフを使い視覚的にパッと分かりやすいような内容で解説しています。自分が独学で TOEIC に向けて勉強していた際にこういう内容が欲しかったというような内容を詰め込んだガイドブックになっています。作り込みは本当に頑張りました。2つ目、英語学習無料カウンセリングチケット。これは僕があなたの英語学習に関するお悩みを直接お聞きし、あなた専用の学習プランを作成させていただきます。あなたの現在の英語力から目標を達成するためにはどんな勉強法、そしてどんな教材が必要なのか、そういったものを一緒に考えさせていただいて、あなたが取り組むべきことを一つ一つ示させていただきます。これに参加していただくことであなたのやるべきことが明確になると思います。3つ目は英作文添削チケット。自分が英検に向かって一人で勉強していた時、英作文をきれいに書くということにはすごく苦労しました。そういった方を一人でもなくせたらと思い、あなたの書いた英作文を僕に送っていただくとナチュラルな英作文になるように僕が直接添削します。そして最後に TOEIC フィードバックチケット。あなたの過去の TOEIC の結果や模試の結果を踏まえて、あなたが目標の TOEIC スコアを達成するためにはどの問題集を使ってどんな勉強をするのかということを僕が1対1でお話をさせていただきます。これらのプレゼントを僕の公式 LINE からお配りしています。興味のある方は概要欄から追加してください。はい、ということでここまでご覧をいただきありがとうございました。少しでもいいなと思っていただけたら、チャンネル登録、高評価、コメント何でもいいのでよろしくお願いします。質問も受け付けてます。そして僕のインスタグラムではここでしか見れない英語学習に関するコンテンツを毎日発信しているので、よかったらこっちもこの ID からフォローしてください。それでは次の動画でお会いしましょう。Do what you only can do. You can do it. See you.